So I don't want to create any false news, so I'll preface this by saying this is the bishop's homily, not mine. I'm just reading it. Jesus studied Torah throughout his youth, even interpreting it for the rabbis much older than himself, and answering the priests in the temple. He knew from a young age that it was his life's mission to do the will of God. He knew also that his mission involved teaching others and to spread that gospel far and wide. This was his good news, that he was to usher in the kingdom of God in God's reign. To become his mission, Jesus received a baptism of water by John the Baptist, to make way for the fiery anointing of God's Holy Spirit. And Jesus went out into the wilderness and sat upon a hill to meditate and pray for 40 days and for 40 nights. What a retreat. During the 40 days of Lent, we are called to do the same thing. We are called to set ourselves apart and keep our eyes on God. We are called to fast so that Jesus can enlighten us by the power of the Holy Spirit that's sent to us after he ascended into heaven. Today's gospel, Jesus prays and meditates. He concentrates entirely upon the will of God. Jesus was confronted by voices and visions, but by the adversary. You are hungry? Yes, he would hear. Use the power of your Father in heaven to turn these rocks into bread and you will be satisfied. But Jesus did not budge, calmly responding, man shall not live on bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. And so, Jesus saw himself in the pinnacle of the temple and was told, throw yourself down from here to prove that you are God's son. Surely your Father will send his angels to save you. But Jesus shrugged and said, you shall not tempt the Lord our God. Finally, Jesus was whisked to a high mountain from which he could see far and wide and was told, all of this I rule, and all of it I will give you, if you will only bow down and worship me. But Jesus said, get behind me, adversary. You shall only worship the Lord our God, and him only shall you serve. And so the devil left Jesus. Jesus responds to all the temptations by quoting the Old Testament. Let's concentrate more on the bread part, the material of life. I watched a program called Happiness this week on Netflix. They took us to India and around the globe to look at what brings happiness and what brings sadness and depression to people's lives. Japanese have the most demanding life on earth. They drive to get ahead. From childhood, this is distilled in them to work and to work hard. They have the worst happiness quotient in the world and are one of the most successful countries. Then we look at Bhutan, where their success is not measured by the GNP, the gross national product, but gross national happiness. The government asks the citizens of Bhutan, what makes you happy? Nature makes them happy. Their religion makes them happy. Family makes them happy. Peace makes them happy. In the 1970s, while developing countries around the world, we focused on increasing economic success to help develop prosperity. Bhutan's king believed an economic approach dehumanized the development process. He instead decided to focus on a concept that he called gross national happiness. In Bhutan, happiness was to be pursued by limiting access to foreign culture. It would not follow the American phrase, keeping up with the Joneses. The success of a country would be measured by its citizens. Bhutan had its critics, but it is also one of the happiest places on earth to live, despite its lack of material wealth. The first happiest place to live on earth is Denmark. Healthcare is a civil right. Education, including college, is a civil right. Fairness is a civil right. You see women make as much as men there, and they don't need to pass a law. Denmark is the happiest country on earth because Danes feel a responsibility to one another. They live the rule, not just recite the rule. I am my brother's keeper. The Danish government looks after the welfare of its people, but the people also look after each other, and thus the people feel happy. They live the gospel more than any other country on earth. Where do we rank? Where do you feel you rank on the happiness scale? Money, power, is not buying us more contentment. Man cannot live on bread alone. Amen.